Hello everybody, welcome to my channel one more time. And in this particular part of Kubernetes hands-on for preparing certification for Kubernetes application developer, we are going to study network policy. This is a rather tricky area where most of the candidates, I think, are not that well prepared because they somehow skip this area, but it doesn't require a lot of effort. Uh, you need to clear your fundamentals, you need to clear your concepts, and then you should be able to answer one or two questions that might be asked in the examination. And so let us start, like, how the network policies are created, how it is mapped to a particular pod, and how the network flow from the pod, and also the network traffic that flows inside the pod, how the behavior can be modified by writing the rules in the network policy. So first of all, we will create a pod in a namespace. So for that, we need to have a namespace. So I create a namespace. The name of the namespace is ingress egress demo, and in this particular namespace I create a deployment which is having the name of web and the image as nginx. I will give the labels app is equal to ingress egress. So the pod that will be created with this deployment will have the label as ingress egress, and then I expose it to port 80, and that's it. So my deployment is created, my service is created, and the pods are created as well, and the label of the pod is ingress egress. So let us now create a network policy that will be mapped to this particular pod which has the label as ingress egress. So I create network policy.yaml, and here first is API version networking.k8s.io/v1, and then kind, it's a network policy obviously, and the metadata is name, my network policy, and namespace ingress egress demo. Now I will fill in the specifications, which is first the policy types, ingress, and obviously egress. Okay, and this particular network policy will be associated with which pod, which pod. The pod needs to have the pod needs to have a label of app ingress egress, and then I will put in the rules over here. Ingress, for the ingress rules, like from uh, pod selector. This is also, like, it can be pod selector, namespace selector, so many configurations are possible, but for us we make it simple and it's pod selector. And the labels, uh, pod selector match labels, it has to be app, sorry, team column DevOps. So any pod which has the label of team as DevOps, that particular pod should only be able to access my pod web. So that is the idea. And egress, the rule of egress is that there should be no outward network traffic from the pod web So that's it. So my network policy is created over here. So I create my network policy. I think there is an error. Metadata spelling is wrong, so let me fix it quickly. Okay, now this should fix the problem. And let me create it. Okay, it got created. So the idea is I created a pod which is web. My idea is that I will restrict the access of this particular web pod in a way that only another pod, say I will create a jump box, so another pod which will have the label will be team is equal to DevOps. If this level there is another pod has this label, then only it will be able to access the pod web. Otherwise, it won't be able to access. Okay, so that is the idea basically. So what we do in the same namespace, so we are all doing the things in the namespace ingress, egress, demo. In the same namespace I create another jump box. So jump box 1, it's a pod, so it's a restart never, and its image can be busybox, and its labels is going to be team is equal to DevOps. Let's see whether it is able to access. It should ideally be able to access this particular pod web. We will check that, and I want to remove it once I am done with my work. And go to interactive shell. So I get inside the pod, which I have got inside the pod now, and then I'm trying to connect to the Nginx server, which name is web, on port 80. Yes, I can connect. As you can see, the message from Nginx server, it shows that I'm able to connect to the web pod. So I come out of it, the jump box is deleted. Now I create one more jump box, but this time the label is different. So I create different label for this pod, which is, say for example, it is testing team, and everything else remains the same. So I get inside this particular pod and try to access the same web pod. I should not be able to access it if my network policy is working correctly. Let us check this. So we will give a timeout over here also, otherwise it will hang over here. So it is trying to connect to web colon 80, but it is not able to connect. As you can see, it finally times out. So that shows that my network policy is working, and this is how you use network policy. This is a short video, so whatever I needed to do in ingress egress demo, that is over. So I can now delete namespace ingress egress demo. That ends this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you had an idea of network policy. Right now you can study more on network policy for other complicated configurations also. If you have liked this video, do click that like button and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.